Hey guys, Bart the Nature Guy here. I am at Wild River State Park north of Taylor's Falls and enjoying a beautiful winter wonderland. There's cross-country skiing. You can hear chainsaws rolling in the background as people are cutting trees and firewood. I'm kind of tucked into a parking lot right here. This is kind of like, you can kind of see the snowbank built up around me from the plows. You might hear a car roll by or whatnot, but I kind of just tucked in here. Wanted to make a short video around camp stoves, and so we're starting to venture into backpacking a little bit more than the car camping. So there's no coolers, you know, when you put everything on your back, and we'll go over the different kinds of packs here on the next coming weeks, some of the gear that's a little bit different, but in regards to making sure that you have food and water and purified water with you, and it's also cold this time of year, and so having some warm beverages is nice as well. So I thought I'd kind of go over 3 different kinds of stove options with you all that are small that you can carry with you. And so, but if it is around day hiking and you really just want to bring something with you, you don't always need a stove. I am a huge fan of thermoses. I mean, this is loaded up with a really nice soup that I made. You know, it's a very simple system to use and just plan around. It doesn't take much, and you can load this up before you go. You can do hot water. This one has got all sorts of delicious items in there. It's got like a pumpkin kale soup full of good nutrition for the trail. And you can just drink it pretty much. You don't even need a utensil. So there's one way to do this, which is just, there's your lunch. So it really doesn't take much. You know, you pack this, you don't need a stove at all. You can just pre-warm it, get it really hot and boiling, put it in a thermos, and if you want to head out and take a lunch adventure, you can absolutely do that. You do not even need to worry about a stove for those day hikes. But if you are doing an overnight, I'm gonna take one more sip. That's really good. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Soup always gets better with time, and I made it yesterday and it just got better. So super excited about it. But in regards to utensils, I mean, you don't even have like the 2-burner Coleman stove that we went over before. So I thought I'd go over real quick a little bit of a backpacking cook kit with you. So one is, this is the whole kit. I mean, you can see my hands. My whole hand pretty much covers this whole pot and pan set. And inside here is actually 4 dishes. So you have the lid actually has handles on it. And inside there's another one. So it kind of nestles. Pops right out, and you get actually 2 pans with that. These are also the lids, so you really want to maximize your fuel usage. And if anybody's tried to boil things, it goes a lot faster if you put a lid on it so that heat doesn't escape and it can heat up that water faster. So these 2 lids also go on these 2 pots. So the pots actually nestle as well. So there's a large and a small. But you don't always need these. You can actually minimize this a little bit as well. So you can actually take some of these out and not need so much. A lot of times with backpacking, you're really heating up water for food source. When you're backpacking, you're carrying your food with you. So you don't want to have a lot of, liquids are really heavy. A gallon of water is almost 10 pounds, and that's going to be a lot. So a couple analogies. I'm using kind of one of the canning jars right now for my water because I'm in a vehicle. No need to worry about that weight. Something that's nice, a little bit nice about not using like the Nalgene's is you can heat things up. So even having like metal, like if you really needed to heat up water and you were really cold and trying to get your core temperature up a little bit, be able to put that near a fire to warm up a little bit different than plastic, kind of those clear plastic camping canteens that you see is a little bit better. And also when you're heating up food, a lot of times we're backpacking for many days, you're looking at more like pre-made meals. The variety, you know, this is chili mac and cheese, chicken pesto and pasta. They've come up with some really great things. Some of the downsides of things like this is actually is the sodium content. And so after a couple of days of these, it can be, in the past it's been pretty bad, but nowadays there's some great new companies coming out with some really good products that really put in some good, healthy, organic foods. Some still have that kind of that high content. I think everybody that spends time with these will find kind of their favorites and kind of keep rolling with them. But really what you're doing is you're cooking actually inside this bag. So you're really just heating up water and then taking off the top. Pretty simple system. Tear it off like this. And inside, I'll see if is inside that meal. And it is designed, and there's a little packet right there. You want to make sure you take that out. And all you're doing is pouring a couple cups of water into this packet. Each packet is different on how much water you use. And then you seal it. It's got like a Ziploc top. And you actually just move it around a little bit. And so that's what we're going to do today. Let's get that started. This is a new brand I'm going to try out for lunch today. And so I really wanted to try it, and I thought I'd do that with you all. It takes about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes for the heat inside here with boiling hot water to kind of get the product cooked, and we'll go from there. Now, there's kind of 3 different ways to do it. One is these little camp stoves, and these little camp stoves have little tiny gas containers. Now, it's really cold today. It's probably, I don't know, it's 20-ish. I mean, it's not 10 below, but it would be even a harder situation if you're 10 below. Now, the nice thing is this little stove I'm going to show you and the gas fits all inside here. So when I was showing you that whole pack all sealed up, inside this was actually my stove. So I'll show you real quick. It is just a simple little tripod with a little burner on the top, if you can see that. And all it does is screw onto this little tiny gas can. If you can see, it's fitting in the palm of my hand. It doesn't take much to screw that on. And you can hear it. Alrighty. And that little piece right there. Now, what's kind of cool with this, and I'm going to get the water started for this right now. I'm going to pour some water right into here just to get that food cooking for myself. And, you know, as far as lighting these, you know, if you've ever been around pressurized, you know, in the cold, pressurized stuff doesn't always go well. These can actually fail on you. So, in the wintertime, in the summertime, I don't worry about it too much. But in the wintertime, using a lighter, can you see that? There we go. Ooh. Can you hear that? You probably can't see it. It is a very, very hot flame. And I'm going to set this down while we talk. And you can hear. And I'm going to put a lid on it, again, maximizing fuel coverage. And I'm just going to let that sit as we're talking here and start heating up. And hopefully that'll get to a boil by the time we're done. But in the wintertime, these pressurized fuels can actually fail quite often. So the second piece that I would always bring as a backup, especially during the winter time, is a little tiny wood stove. And this is just a little setup. I have tin foil in there, and that's simply to protect some fuel canisters. But if you can see this, it's just a little tiny grate. And all you're gonna be able to do with that is set something on top of it. So you can see that little space. All you're gonna do is take, whether it be some birch bark, some small twigs, and you're gonna load up your fire in there. And really that's nice. It kind of gets it up off the ground and gets it kind of off the snow. But if you're in deep snow in a storm situation, that is failed at this point. Your pressurized fuel, and you need to use this. Setting this into the snow is not gonna be that helpful. It's gonna go right down into the snow. It's totally exposed to the air around it. That's why I actually keep the tin foil with this pack. And I also think about this more as emergency situations. So inside there, I actually have little fuel tablets. So these are something I would put in the bottom to kind of guarantee my fuel usage. So this would actually guarantee, it's like a fire starter. And so it's gonna burn for about 2-3 minutes and really help me get a fire. You know, when you're looking out at the product here to use, you have some of those leaves right there that you can see. You can find good product like this as far as tinder goes to get a fire going. But like I said, I use this as an emergency, so I keep a set of tablets with it. Again, small, contained, folds up nicely, and you can see it fits right in the palm. I can cover it up, so it really stays small for my backpack. It's a good backup to the fuel canisters that I carry. There's lots of different brands. Amazon has a couple of them that have come out with really good reviews for not a lot of money. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, those little tripod gas canisters that I showed you really don't take huge amount of finances to get started. These little pots and pan sets can though. This is titanium. You can see it burns real quick. It's very, very thin and it's meant to transfer heat through here. So you're not trying to heat this up for a long time in order for it to get the water to go warm. You want this to heat up very quickly and start heating up your product very, very fast. And so these titanium sets tend to be a little bit more expensive, but they're not necessary. There are some stainless steel sets that are not as expensive as this one is. So a couple different things with that. And then the last one I wanted to show you, which is great for winter. This is something my family got this for me for the holidays, so I'm super excited. It's a brand new solo run right now. I'm gonna get it started for you. It's a little can stove. There's a bunch of different brands. With this one, I'm super excited. It's meant for kind of one to four people. Basically you can hear that rattle right there. Oftentimes what I'll do to eliminate that in my pack is to take a paper towel, run it inside there, and when I set that inside, now it doesn't rattle. So a little bit of paper towel on the inside will help it so you're not rattling the whole time when you're in the woods, which is nice. And all that is you're flipping that around, and that's creating your grate on the top. So you're getting your fire started in here. You can see all the air holes that it provides to get kind of maximize the making sure that you have enough oxygen down inside the can. But again, for the snow, it sets right inside. Much easier than this small set right here that I had earlier with those legs up where it's all exposed. If you had a windy situation, stormy situation, this is a great setup. I'm super excited to try it all with you today. And it's got, again, a little can and a little bit of top so you can set your pot and pan right on top. So that's how that setup works. Like I said, there's a couple different brands out there. So this is more the can style. You have the open style, and then you also have that the gas stove that I showed you, which is a little backpacking stove. I think my water's almost getting close. It actually doesn't take that long to heat up. And I'll show you again. It's lit and going, but it's very small. But it's just enough to get that water going. I'm gonna keep it rolling so I can have a lunch here real soon. A little backpacking lunch and kind of trying out some different brands. It's always nice to try them out before you go. And a couple different ways to start those fires. Now there's a classic, I have a little set of matches here inside. And this is one of those little safety whistles. So it's kind of fun. It's got the compass built in. It's got a safety whistle, and it also has matches. So it's a good kind of one-stop shop of carrying some stuff in regards to emergency situations. You all know I always carry little fire starters. I love to use toilet paper and paper towel rolls, roll them up, put some dryer lint inside. That's what I'm going to use today to start up this fire. I found a little bit of birch bark, and I'm going to try it in the solo stove. So I'm going to actually tilt this camera down now. You can kind of see my whole layout here. This is actually, this orange piece that you see is a waterproof bag, and so I can roll it all, everything, all my camp stuff and all my food, kitchen basically rolls up into this bag. And also you can see when I take it out, it gives me kind of a nice waterproof barrier between myself and the snow. So I'm going to save this paper towel for later, and I'm going to get this thing started. So I'm going to use the lighter to start off. I'll try this first. It'll be kind of fun. I'll use my ferro rod. This rod shoots sparks at about 1,000 degrees. You guys have seen me use this before. I also have this piece of rope attached to it. This actually has some fire starting capabilities. I tend not to need it, but it's a nice backup. I'll just get a couple started. There it goes, it's starting. You can see that. It's got a flame in it now. And it's starting up. So I'm going to pull that out right now. Let that get started. I'm going to get some of these leaves and this birch bark going. Everything in this is slow, so I'm just trying to get this stuff lit. There's the birch bark is now lit, and now I'm going to take all these little twigs. If you guys remember my kind of talk about fire, it's starting with things as thin as your hair, like the dryer lint, then we're moving out to the fingers, so just touch your head. And all you got to remember is start with what's on top of your head, hair, move to your fingers, then move to your arms and fingers, wrists, and think about your bones and the size of those different pieces. And now this thing is for a solo run. First time using the stove, it's working out great. It's also protected from the wind. And we have this nice little fire going here. Now another thing I love, if anybody knows me in the school, is I love coffee. And so the cool thing with this stove, and this is just coincidence, I use these little tin coffee cups. It actually sits in here perfect. So I'm actually going to pour some water right now in here and start making myself a little cup of coffee. So again, from fire starters to lighters to matches, all sorts of different options of getting your fire started for whatever you like. And oh yep, that's fire's going real nice right now. That's the little can stove right there. You have the over here, the water is all heated up and it's all set to go. So I'm going to open up my meal right here. I'm going to open up my lunch. I'm going to watch my hand around the fire here. And all I'm going to do, this has a little tiny, you can't see it very well, but it's got a little tiny pouring spout right there, which makes it nice if you've ever tried to pour stuff and it drips a lot. And so I'm going to pour this in right here over that flame. And now all that hot steamy water is in there. I'm going to seal this up right now. Now it's all sealed up. I give it a little bit of squishiness to kind of mix it up. And now it's going to sit there for about 4 or 5 minutes and get all the different ingredients mixed together. I'm going to put my lovely cup of coffee right here on the top of the solo stove. And I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. So kind of 3 different stoves for camping, and especially in the winter. So you have the small gas stove, again, real small, and all these just bend in and actually condenses more. You take that off. I'll do that right now. You can hear the gas probably spinning as I take this off. I would always bring a second one of these as a backup. These can freeze in really cold winter conditions. If you can see this, I'm not going to touch it right now because it's pretty warm, but very small individual backpacking stove. I mean, it's smaller than my hand, and so again, all that's going to fit right inside to that camp stove with all these different pots and pans, so the whole thing fits in there with that gas. Also, again, bringing a secondary small portable wood stove to get stuff off the ground, keep the fire contained. And again, this is an emergency setup for me in case like that propane would not work. I have a little gel tab here that's a fire starter as well. And then lastly, the stove making my cup of coffee here. So super excited. Oh, it's already warm. Yep. The only thing you have to worry about here on this one is that the cup gets really hot, not just the water. So you can actually put it up to your mouth and burn your mouth when you try to drink your cup of coffee. So a couple different things there. I'm going to switch, put my cup of coffee in there and get on with my day after I have some lovely lunch. So I kind of brought you on a little bit of a trip between using a thermos, which is really nice and easy, simple system, gas stove, open exposed, small travel stove for the outdoors as well, but it can kind of, if it's high wind, you're losing a lot of your heat out. It can also blow sparks, and especially out in the west, they're really concerned about forest fires right now, so that might not be the best situation. And then lastly, I'm not going to pick it up now, but you have the canister stove that provides not only heat for your hands to warm up, like my hands are a little chilly right now after working outside, but it also that solo stove has an ability to flip a lid over, and it creates a spot for you to cook upon as well. So take care, everybody. Bart the Nature Guy, 3 different types of stoves to kind of move ourselves into the backpacking world a little bit for this week. So take care. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday break. I look forward to seeing y'all in your classes as well. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Peace out.